Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. Thursday the 6th of May 2021. Right, now we'll begin basically tidying up the right hand side of the machine. Now we've finished for the time being the various tests on the motor, oil circulation, electric starter, etc. So first job was to wait for battery strap. That's now arrived and is fitted, and as you can see at the bottom it ties in as usual to the base of the battery tray with a number of slots so you can loop it round itself in a similar way that you do with the hook or buckle at the top. And the way this works as usual is it goes over the top of the battery and hooks onto this bar which is at the back of the battery tray itself, and that'll keep the battery tied down and the terminals away from the frame, because the terminals are on this battery have to be at the back here because of the orientation, so pretty close to underneath this spar, but there's about ½ an inch clearance, so with it strapped down it should be okay. But as a precaution I will put or make some sort of rubber cover for the negative terminal, which is on this side. Obviously the positive one's fine because that's earth anyway. The battery's out at the moment, just having a bit of a refresher charge following all the electric start testing we did. There's still plenty of charge in it, but just needed a bit of a boost. Then we get the side cover on. Then we can finish off putting back together the footrest and the rear brake pedal, as we had to remove those to take the primary cover off when we needed to look at the clutch when it was slipping, but that's resolved. And then once we've done that, we'll get the exhaust on. That's already all ready to go on there as well. So that will then just about finish it off. The final job then will be the auto advance, and a kind friend is currently in the process of making one up to the correct spec, and it's nearly complete. But I'm just considering whether to make a temporary one up in the meantime, just to effectively see if we can get a first start on the motor, and that's the reason why I've got the cover off the points at the minute. I've got the mounting stud out, and we'll see if we can modify another standard another unit off a more standard model. It hasn't got quite the same number of degrees advance, 12 rather than 15, but looking at it, it could work with a bit of jiggery poker. It might be a little bit of a botch, but we'll see. I'm in no particular rush, especially with sort of any temporary compromises, because the last thing we want to do is risk damaging the motor. So anyway, first things first, let's get the footrest and the rear brake pedal and rod back on. Okay, that's the footrest on. It's the end of the footrest is slotted, and it fits over an oblong spigot, and the locking bolt comes in from the reverse side, from the other side of the engine plate. So this one is not on a taper. Thank goodness. By this time they did away with that bizarre mounting, what should I say, technique. Right, on next to the rear brake pedal, which fits on this spindle. It's a little more complex on this in that the height of the rear brake pedal end is adjustable on this, so we've got a sliding bracket mechanism to true up to the right height, and then we've got to adjust the rear brake light switch as well to operate efficiently, so it's a bit more involved. And this the locking nut for the adjustable bracket is actually the swinging arm pivot, so it's pretty important. So quite a bit involved to get this in the right position, but pretty straightforward. Okay, that's the right hand side tidied up, brake pedal and rod back on and all functioning, and the brake light switch adjusted as well. As you can see, it's a bit complicated down there, but it's not too bad. Right, and also the battery strap arrived, so that's been fitted, and I've tidied up a few bits and pieces as well. The fuse is in an accessible place, so the battery's well snug in there. Side panel back on. So next job then, let's get the exhausts on. Now, if I remember correctly, the best way to do this is to initially put the pipes on loosely. They are clamped positively at the front end onto the head, and then you slide the one-piece set of silencers over the pipes and secure them at the back. And then once they're loosely held on their bracket down from the top end here, so at least they're in position, we can fiddle about with the middle bracket, which I'll show you when I install it. I'm just umming and ahhing a bit because I'm wondering whether to put the mount the silencers up first, because then we'll have better access to the front mounting point on the silencers. That might be a better way of doing it. Right, let's get the parts together anyway, and on second thoughts, yeah, I'll start with the back end first, because at least we can then test again the way that the silencers fitted after the initial fit before we got all the parts plated up. So let's get those together first, and I'll bring you back. Right, first job done. Just put some final chrome polish on the silencers, and also then fit the two mounting brackets for this back end. So we've got the long bracket that mounts on the top of the shock mounting, and then this bracket it fits to a loop around the frame. So again, just bear with me, don't get seasick. So just to remind you, the rear long bracket mounts on there, on the end of that spacer there to clear the shock, and then the front bracket attaches to a loop round the frame, and we've got to get the position of this right. And also, before I tighten that up, I'll put well, normally people put insulation tape around it, but the better technique that I use is, and I can't see, there we are, is rim tape to go underneath that bracket, that loop. So what we'll do now and then is just do a quick test fit. The silencers have come up pretty well. When I first got these back, I thought the black chrome, it looks a bit rough, almost like, you know, it's spray painted in places, as though they've not really done that good a job of polishing these before they've plated them again. But anyway, this is obviously the reverse side, which isn't too bad, but the other side is a lot better. Yeah, it's like glass. And this is the side as well that we'll be putting the the guards on, the two thin wire chrome guards too. Right, let's do a test mounting on this. I've got obviously the stud and the nut for that end. I just need to sort out a bolt for this end, 3/8 short one, and we'll take it from there. Right, silencer on its brackets loose because it is all adjustable to get it to the right height for once we put the pipes on, which we'll do next. But essentially at this end we've got sliding adjustment down the bottom there, and if we need any more we can actually use the holes in the bracket as well to raise it if we need to a bit more. But at the front here as well, I mean, this is a plastic coated frame, but just to show you that we can actually, I can't do it one-handed, but essentially if we pivot the silencer on its bracket here and push the bracket backwards, then this naturally comes up and raises the front end, which we can do with two hands. And once we've got it roughly into the right position with the pipes on, that's when we can then put the rim tape round here, put this bracket over the top of it, and then nip it up. It's just loose at the moment. So next thing then is to fit the pipes. So I'll just show you the components of the front end now, and also we'll give these a bit of a polish up with the chrome polish too. Right, there's the full kit for one pipe. So starting at the top here, as you can see there's a flange there. So the clamp slides over the pipe to go up to there, and then it's a positive fixing, two studs in the head and held in by two 5/16 nuts with spring washers. On the reverse side of the flange is a composite copper stroke asbestos washer to seal. And the rest of the components are, there's a ring here which I've yet to drill to put one of these screws and a nut on, because this slides over the pipe as well and ends up as being the end mounting point for the silencer guard, the chrome wire silencer guard. That's its fixing point at this end. So that's a snug fit over the pipe. I'll drill a hole in that, and the chrome guard has loops in it, and that loop will end up being fixed to this with one of these screws and its nut, and then the other two screws are to fix the same chrome guard to screws that are tack welded onto the silencers, to nuts that are tack welded onto the silencer themselves, which is correct. And then finally you've got the clamp for this end that goes over the silencer. So that's one pipe's worth. So I'll get it mounted up, and we'll see how all this lot looks. Right, one on. After a bit of jiggery pokery. It's a bit difficult to see from this angle because I haven't got much room. If we go down to about here, you see that the exhaust is very slightly upswept, which is correct. So I've just got the top pipe on there at the moment, top silencer, into the top silencer, and now you can see a bit better how the guard is fixed. So on the silencer itself, the screws just go into captive nuts tacked onto the silencer, but at this end screws onto this loop which goes around the exhaust pipe. So that's quite good. The only bit of a downer is I've just noticed, get the light right, there it is, there's a little ding there. Oh well, we ain't going to do out about that now. It's very minor. It's bloody annoying. Anyway, can't worry about that. It's done. That's it. But other than that, I'm really pleased with that. It looks good. All fitted up at the front end with its finned clamp and the compound gasket behind that on the pipe flange. So what that's now given us is I've just got this clamp tightened up slightly, just nipped, and the same with the bracket down here, this bracket, which means now we've got the right position for this. It needs to be swung out a little bit, but at least we know where we can put the rim tape now around here, and we can tighten that up. And as I say, it'll just, at the moment the bottom silencer is sloping in about, so we just need to pull it out a touch. But as I say, other than that, pretty good, and plenty of clearance here between the pipe and the top of the primary cover extension for the electric start. I'm just looking at the bandit pipes over there, and actually maybe this one could come up a little tiny bit more. Well, it will do actually, yeah, it will do when I just tighten up the rear end and just spin it out a little bit. This is going to come up a little bit, so it's fairly close to the points, chrome points cover, which you can see on the bandit. That gives us a bit of a benchmark. But the silencers on the bandit are a little bit bigger than these, just slightly. Right, let's get the other pipe on. Okay, there we go. Second pipe in. Had to do a bit of adjustment at the back end just to bring the pair of silencers forward a bit, as the bottom pipe is a little bit shorter. But that's okay, because as you may have seen when I was fabricating the silencers, then the mounting points are slotted so that you can actually move the silencers both up and down and forward and backwards to allow for that, so that's worked out fine. So we're all clamped up at the front. You can't see the chrome fin clamps too well there, but it's all positive clamped in. And that's the correct routing as well. Left hand pipe comes over the top of the right hand pipe. Reasonably parallel across the motor, and a gap between the pipe and the primary case. And this is all solid, so it isn't going to move. Here's the front rings, effectively sort of slip rings if you like, to hold the guard. Clamps to the silencers, and then two positive fixings for the guard onto the silencers, and then the two brackets all bolted up, so this is solid. So although it's a bit close down here, it's just not going to move. It's absolutely rock solid, which is great. Okay, that's that job done. Yeah, really pleased with that actually. Now I've cleaned it up a bit more actually. The chrome is better quality than I originally thought. One or two areas where I don't think it's been polished up too well, but in general pleased with that. And finally one or two other jobs down the bottom here. The side stand is now on. I've got to put the spring on yet, but sorted out the correct mounting bolt which screws in from the bottom side, and I've just got to fold over the tab washer now to keep that there, but that works quite well. Looks as though it sticks out a little bit, but that's correct because obviously it's designed to be accessible when there's a downpipe on this side with the Roadster version, one of which we've got right here. So let's just have a quick look over. And in fact, oh, it's just peeking out down there. So you can see how far back it goes. It has to clear the silencer as well. So that's why it looks as though it's sticking out a little bit on the SS, but that's because there's nothing there to cover it, and that's the shape of it. And the final job to do on that is to put the spring on, and I've also got to put the spring on the centre stand as well. So both of those are prepared. Now the spring was kindly made up for me by another aficionado of Furies, which was very kind of them actually. And it wasn't plated, but having said that, and as you can see, I've sprayed it Dove Grey, and the reason for that, main stand spring that is, that's the side stand spring. The reason for that is that on the show Fury, the Roadster, I don't know whether we can see it actually. Where's it going to be? It's going to be on this side. Oh, you can just see the bottom end of it. Hang on a sec. There it is. It's a bit grubby under there, but that is painted. And this was as put together by the factory. Now, whether that's because when this was put together for the Royal Lancaster publicity launch in November, whether it's put together quickly for that launch and therefore they had to just paint that rather than get it plated, I don't really know. But anyway, it's going to look all right, and it'll be both bikes will be consistent then. Okay, so I think we'll end it there for this video. There's still one or two bits and pieces to do. As I said before, the next major thought process will be a temporary auto advance unit until the proper one is available. Again, that's being kindly fabricated by the same Fury aficionado. But I'm just wondering whether, I think because of new family matters at the moment, then obviously there are other priorities in life. So there's possibly a slight delay on that, which doesn't worry me at all. Hence the reason why we might try and make up a temporary unit from one of the more readily available auto advance units, but we'll have to modify it, so it's whether or not it's worth doing that. Only other small jobs are I've got the fuel pipes to make up for the fuel tank, so I think I'll probably do that next. Now we're in a position to put the tank on, because everything's finished up the top end for now, and I think that'll be the next video, and we'll probably have a complete bike then that we'll probably put out into the sunlight. There's some other bits and pieces to do as well. I don't know whether you can see from this distance, but just there you can see the speedo cables drooping down a bit, so we just need to get that secured with a cable tie, not a tie wrap obviously, a proper cable tie. So I need to go around the bike and do bits and pieces like that. There's one or two other things that I've just got to tighten up as well. So we'll leave all that anyway for the next video, possibly tidying up to completion pending auto advance unit, and we'll save it for then. So thanks very much everybody for watching. Thanks for your interest, comments and any subscriptions. It's very much appreciated, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks all, bye bye.